Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I release a Legacy video every Friday. Hello everyone, Martin here, back with another Legacy video. It is 2025 and I'm going to start the year off playing Doomsday. So, at the time of recording, I still don't feel like I have a great feeling for where the format is going to settle. The leagues I play all seem to be pretty combo heavy. I played against like Ruby Storm and even Mississippi River in one league, and so I kind of want a deck that is well set up to fight other combo decks, which I think this is. So in the main deck we have 4 days, 4 force, and 2 Thoughtseize, and then 1 copy of Drown in the Lock as sort of ways of countering stuff and discarding. And then I have another 2 forces to bring in out of the sideboard. But I also just felt like playing with the One Ring today. So I've made this list, which is trying to be fairly quickly, like fairly fast, but also have staying power. And then for the tempo decks, we have basically these 13 black cards to come in. So a creature plan. So I'm bringing in 3 Goyfs, 3 Barragoyf, 3 Sheoldred, 2 Orcish Bowmasters, and then 5 removal spells, which I think is a pretty solid place to be if you're up against Dimir Tempo or Grixis Tempo, which I feel like are going to be the Tempo decks moving forward, at least for the foreseeable future. So that's pretty sweet. So yeah, I do expect there to be more Pyroblasts, which is why currently I am on 2 copies of Thassa's Oracle over the typical 1/1 split of, well, not the typical, but what has been typical for me lately, the 1/1 split of Thassa and Jace. I just feel like I'm not at all ruling Jace out, but I just want to see a little bit more like where things are settling down. I expect there, like I said, to be combo. So also Mystic Forge is something I expect, and then Eldrazi. Eldrazi, I think versus Eldrazi, I think this list is still fast enough to like make it at least, I would say, a coin flip or thereabouts, which I think is also decent. I am with this list, I'm really not too excited to play against Nadu probably, but we shall see. Um, like because they will have the white removal, but then again, like all of this is also pretty decent versus them, I think. I have no graveyard interaction, so that is a little bit of a punt, maybe to see if that goes well. We shall see. But yeah, I think that's enough of the deck tech. Let's jump into a league. All right, we're on the draw for round number 1 with our opponent taking a mulligan and a pretty sketchy hand. But we do get to turn 1 surveil. I'm tempted to keep this because, like I said, the format is pretty fast. We have Force of Will. If we just randomly draw either Doomsday or the One Ring, then suddenly we're looking a lot prettier. Meanwhile, opponent goes down to 5. Yeah, another deck that has seen a resurgence after the Frog ban has been Moonstompy, I believe. And Moonstompy is different now than it was before. It no longer obviously has access to Vexing Bauble. So Chalice of the Void is back in a big way. Chalice is back, baby, in a big way. Oh, this is Dredge. El Dredgerino. So do I force this? I think I probably do. I saw a video on Bosch and Roll's channel where they were up against a Dredge deck that played like Brainstorm and Force of Will. So we do have to be a little bit careful. Consider, okay. I mean, we could play that, but I'm gonna surveil first, at least. Okay, Barbarian Ring. Well, let's see if they just have another enabler. Well, looks like they don't. I'm going to take my draw here. And I think I'm going to Thoughtseize them. This is a bit risky if they're sitting on like 3 dredgers. So maybe I'm supposed to wait. Yeah, I think I'm just going to consider Another Thoughtseize. Let's put that in the graveyard. Oh, Brainstorm. That's nice. All right, I'm going to pass. And they go to their draw step. And they're passing. Hey, look at that. All right, I'm going to Thoughtseize, and then I'm going to win on the same turn, unless they are sitting on interaction here. So Cephalid Coliseum can, if they have Threshold, kill us. But yeah. Oh, okay. So this is Dredge with the Life from the Loam and Poxwalker is cool. What is this? Is Barbarian Ring, right? It just deals damage, but again with Threshold. That's interesting. Is that like a win condition somehow? I don't know. Okay. Doesn't matter what we take here. Let's just take the Poxwalkers though. And immediately I'm punished for not having any graveyard interaction, but luckily Dredge kind of hit its fail rate here and our opponent mulliganed low. Okay, so this is the same turn win pile here, where we go for a Cycler, a Consider, a Lion's Eye Diamond, and Thassa's Oracle. Oh yeah, no, another Consider, or rather, another Cycler. Oops, I hit Force of Will by mistake. Alright. So Thassa on the bottom, Cycler on top, and then the next three don't matter, the order. Cast Brainstorm, put back the blank on our hand, and Consider on top. So yeah, like, if opponent had Threshold right now, we would not be able to win. Cephalid Coliseum. Yeah, alright. Let's put that in the graveyard, cycle the Street Wraith, draw the Thassa, and Bob's your uncle. Alright, cool. Alright, let's see here. I think Shouldered is actually not a complete mess here because, well, then again, like, they just replace their draws, so maybe not. Maybe I just need to board in like the 2 Force of Negation, and then we can board out a Thoughtseize and like Thassa's Oracle, 1 copy. I think that's probably fine. All right, this I'm gonna keep this hand, but it's pretty slow, but has Doomsday and Force. Opponent meanwhile mulligans to 6. They find 6 they like. Yeah, maybe maybe I am supposed to bring in Shieldred, because now if they just have, I'm gonna do the same thing here. If they just have Cephalid Coliseum, then I can't really cast Doomsday and pass very well. Okay, well, maybe we'll get lucky and surveil into a Dark Ritual here. Also, the open blue mana makes me concerned that they have something like maybe Flusterstorm or Consign to Memory. Let's put Ponder into the graveyard, trying to hit a ritual here. We do hit a ritual, and we actually just hit the same turn win. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna play like what they have is Consign to Memory. Oh, but they seem to have 6 here. Okay, I'm actually gonna play the player and not the board state here. I'm gonna play like they don't have anything. It might be a ruse. They might be like playing with me here, which is something that some people do, I myself included sometimes. Try to like click quickly through phases. But my read is that they have nothing, and that they mulliganed to a hand that didn't do a lot versus Force of Will, but we shall see. This is just the exact same situation as before. Put back Polluted Delta and Consider, cycle, and crack for blue, cast Consider, cycle, and we got it. Okay, that was extremely quick and pain-free for us painful for the opponent. Well, sometimes, you know, two ships passing in the night kind of thing in Legacy. So there we go. Off to a winning start. Let's go for round number 2. All right, so on the play for round number 2, I totally recognize this username, but I can't remember what they play. Maybe some like a stompy. I got a stompy vibe here. Stompy vibe. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, let's keep this. Oh, it's a Yorion strategy. Okay, and they mulligan the 6. Okay, so I would expect this to be Death and Taxes or Nadu, and then like with something like 4 or 5 colored Beanstalk as a distant third possibility. Wow, down to 5. My opponents are not hitting their luck here with the thing, the mulligan. I think I'm actually gonna fetch basic island here, and just cast Ponder. I think one way I could lose potentially here is if I get wastelanded, and unfortunately I do get a bit punished here because if I'd fetched an underground sea, we could have gone for Doomsday next turn if I don't get wastelanded. Blah blah blah. But this is still a fairly solid spot to be in, and it is a blue fetch land, so it's also white fetch land though. So let's see. Tropical Island. I guess this probably does mean. Is it Espervile? I am going to daze this Aether Vial though. I don't want to play against that card, and I am looking at like it's going to be a couple of turns before we get to put Doomsday on the stack. I'm going to pass here. I forget now, but I think there was a Ponder on top of my deck, but I could also fetch a Surveil land and try and go for Tamio, okay, and try and go for the thing, like just hit another land. I think maybe that's a fine place to be at if I hit another fetch land or underground sea here, or even like a ritual or petal. I hit a Doomsday. That's unfortunate. Let's put that in the graveyard. Kind of lets our opponent know that we already have it. But we drew a land, so that was good. Okay. Let's see here. I don't think they have days. Or they could have dazed my days. They have a force though. Okay. Force pitch Uro. I'm gonna force back. And Doomsday resolves. Alright, let's just see here. So if I put Brainstorm on top and then Thoughtseize, do I get to Thoughtseize before putting Thassa on the stack? I think I do. But not if they then have a Wasteland, in which case it's also fine. So let's see here. I would put Brainstorm and Thoughtseize and Thassa and LED and a Cycler. So let's say we draw the Brainstorm, we cast it, we draw LED, Edge of Autumn, Thoughtseize. We put back the Island from our hand and the Consider, and then we have an untapped black mana, and then Cycler and LED, so that would work. It might... Yeah, I'm just trying to work out if this will end up like biting us, but I don't think so. Well, we shall see. If there's any way like they start discarding cards out of our hand, then like if we lose the Considered, that's a pretty big problem. If they suddenly turn out to also be a black deck. Okay. Meticulous Archive. What's this? Overlord of the Flood Pits. When enters, draw 2, then discard a card. And then it has Impending. If you cast a spell for its impending cost, it enters. Then it has Suspend kind of thing. Yeah, okay. That's an interesting card. Which probably has some use I'm not really seeing. Okay, so they get a clue. And what they can do here is they can just sit on the clue. Nadu, okay. Then I don't think there's any... We're not worried about anything now. So this is a Nadu deck. Okay, so we cast Brainstorm. let's put back the basic island and then the consider. Oh, we're getting some repetitions with this pile or variations of it. So cast the consider, put that in the graveyard, and there we go. All right, cool. Well, against an opponent with a decimated mulligan to 5 opener here on the draw versus Doomsday with their Yorion Bant sort of combo control deck, I do think I want to, at least for game number 2, just pivot into a Dimir, the One Ring kind of control deck without Doomsday. Let's bring over the stuff we don't want here. Maybe I want one Thassa's Oracle, because honestly, sometimes you can get into a point where you start to approach the end of your library. But in all likelihood, probably not. And I am also like, I do have to cut a lot of stuff. How about, so I'm down to, I need to cut 2 more cards. And I'm going to be, like right now I have 20 blue cards, which is, I think, okay in terms of supporting Force of Will, but I would prefer not to be cutting more. So maybe like Daze is not great versus that deck on the draw, but then again, that's a blue card. Maybe we cut like 1 Lotus Petal and 1 copy of Thoughtseize. I think Thoughtseize is a lot less essential versus them when we're not trying to win with Thassa's Oracle. Yeah, let's try this. Alright, I will keep this reactionary hand with a Dark Ritual though, so it just, like, it kind of goes off if we find like Sheoldred or even Barrogoyf. Opponent mulligans to 6. Will I Force of Will and Aether Vial? I think I probably have to. Deafening Silence. That is definitely okay with me. It means Dark Ritual into the One Ring is off, but my other, like, Dark Ritual into something is not off. Oh, Undercity Sewer is being awkward here. I think I play it, though. And let's put Thoughtseize into the graveyard. So, like, Bowmasters would have been on if I had played C here. I could go like Dark Ritual Bowmasters, but that's also not really something I'm super interested in. Wasteland, okay. Well, I mean, that kind of fits the bill if they're Esper Vial. Okay. So I think I need to cast Ponder this turn. Find another Force of Will. So Force can now pitch to Force, I think is what's going to happen. Oof. I think I have to shuffle these. Well, Sheoldred, huh? It's not going to do a lot if they just have another Wasteland. Okay, thankfully not another Wasteland. Fatal Push, and now I have to move to discard. That is stupidly awkward. I guess I could Dark Ritual out Bowmasters. Yeah. This is really not great. I think I do want to hold on to the Dark Ritual. So I'm just gonna get rid of Drown in the Login. Was that or Force of Will? I kind of don't want to discard Force of Will. I don't want them to see that I'm doing that, because it's a pretty big giveaway that I have Force. They have Brainstorm. Okay, I mean, I'm gonna take the 4/4 here. They can't do anything now. They've cast their 1 non-creature spell. So Veil of Summer doesn't matter. Force of Will doesn't matter. They don't have a removal spell that's castable off of Tropical Island, I would assume. It also means my forces are off now. Let's see how much of a problem this might be for them, if any at all. They have nomads. Okay. And I think I probably, on my next turn, I have to try and Fatal Push this, because I'm casting 1 non-creature spell a turn. So if I want my counter magic to be live on their turn. Ugh. Look at that. And now it's just super awkward. Like, if I go Phyrexian or like Praetor, they're gonna see what I have here. Yeah, I'm actually going to just name Orc here. They have to respect that I might have another one. I'm gonna attack with both. I don't mind trading with the nomads. And I am going to try and kill this. They have Veil here. That's a big, big swing in their favor. They didn't. Okay, cool. Well, they're at 9. I have 5 power on the board. Is this Nadu? It is Nadu. Well, I'm gonna try this. We'll see. And they didn't have a backup here. A blue card is a big, big draw right now. Or a dark ritual. That was neither. So they have 2 cards in hand. If those 2 cards are Nadu and Nomads, then they just win right now. Recruiter of the Guard. Okay. So what does that get you? They get Solitude. Okay. Blue card? I do get a blue card. So I'm just going to attack with both creatures here. They probably chump the thing. Okay. So they're at 3. That was interesting that they got the Solitude and then didn't use it before combat. They put Yorion into their hand. And then they Solitude. And I think I force here. We could also just accept it. But I like pushing the advantage here. Okay, they have Tamio. So Tamio is going to make the sacrifice here unless I draw a removal spell. I don't. I draw Brainstorm. So if I brainstorm, I can't cast another removal spell. But what I could do is find the other orc. So I think I am going to do that. And I do. Oh, wow. Sick. Alright. So I am going to attack here. I guess it doesn't matter though. Like it's not a changing clock. But it will put them to 1. I think I just pass. Well, they haven't conceded, so they have a move. Well, there is a Nadu. Okay. Hopefully Nomads isn't one of the last 2 cards in their hand. Looks like it's not. Okay, so I'm gonna play the Orc now. They could have a Source of Plowshares in hand. But even if they do, then I think I win right now. Hey, we got there. Sweet deal. Off to a 2-0 start. Let's go for round number 3. Right on. We're on the play for round number 3. Oof, this is. I'm gonna keep this because we have Surveillance now. It's 2020. It's 2025. But this is almost great, but then frighteningly fragile as well. Opponent mulligans to 6. Okay. Let's pass. Ooh, it's Eldrazi. It that heralds the end. Okay. Okay, I do need to, I think, fetch the Surveilland. So let's do that. And it hits Doomsday. Oh, so awkward. This is the second time this happened in this league, so opponent knows what's up. We have to put Doomsday in the graveyard. And we are suddenly not looking very good. I'm gonna name Wizard with this and pass. Wasteland here would be pretty savage. And they do have one. Okay. Is there any way we get to keep this with these dazes? Unfortunately not. So let's cycle. Oops. Let's cycle the Edge of Autumn. We hit a Street Wraith. And I think I just cycle that too, because if I hit a Brainstorm here, I want to use the floating blue mana, which I do. Wow, how about that? Oh, God. Well, this is maximum punish. Okay. Let's put back some cards and let's pass the turn. And we just have to pass again. Oh, this is the consign. What? X equals 0? This is just to make a creature. Scry is 0. And so this cycles and makes a, yeah, I don't think I want to force that. That was just a cycler, yeah. Oh yeah, it didn't even makes X thingies. Okay. Well, they have 4 mana now if they have something like Thought-Knot Seer, but crucially they don't have Cavern of Souls. And I think, let's just see here. If I take 2 more, I go to 11, Doomsday would take me to 5. I think I discard a Force of Will here because if I hit a land, I could just like cycle my way through and cast this Oracle. Okay, but now they have another Kozilek's command, so I'm gonna force that instead of going to discard because this actually does stuff. You never know when the Cavern of Souls is gonna come down and just make your Force of Wills almost useless. So Cavern, there it is. And yeah, if they have Thought-Knot Seer, that's a big problem. This when they do. I mean, they know what we're playing, so I'm just gonna let this resolve. This has to take Doomsday, I would imagine. Now there are only 2 copies of Doomsday left. I'm at 10. I'm at an effective 3 next turn. So we draw a Polluted Delta. I think I am going to cycle this. I could also actually, I could cast the Thassa's Oracle here. Maybe that's better. Get a little pseudo, like scry going. We don't want any of those. The list of cards that help us here is very short. I think it's practically just like the One Ring. It says Sowing Mycospawn. I would concede to that. Yeah, alright. Let's just concede. Yeah, I don't know. I've said it from, I think, the beginning that you can't, from when these cards were printed, the Sowing Mycospawn and the Kozilek's Command, you can't play a long game versus Eldrazi. Like, them, like, nuking 2 lands per turn is just too hard to face. So we don't actually want these black cards. At least I don't think so. At the very least, not for game number 2, seeing as we lost game number 1. I think. So Barrel Goyf is a respectable threat. I don't know if they, seeing as they are Sowing Mycospawn deck, I don't know if they would play Karakas. I don't know how well Karakas sort of tracks currently in Legacy, so Sheoldred is a bit of a question mark there. But I think I'm just gonna resubmit here. Force of Negation counters Chalice of the Void, but so does Daze. I think having 8 free counterspells for that is good enough. And when we're on the draw, then it's different, right? Because the Dazes don't work on our turn 0. All right. Well, that feels good. How about we go for this? So I think I'm actually going to fetch Basic Island off of the Scalding Tarn. And then I'm going to cast Dark Ritual off of Lotus Petal. And Cry if they happen to have Mindbreak Trap. Okay, so we want Thassa, right? And then some cyclers. And because we have the Daze, I don't think we have to worry about Kozilek's Command, which I don't think they probably couldn't get up to enough mana anyways. I don't want to have to kill my basic island here. Let's actually just try this out. Like, things we have to look out for here are Disruptor Flute and Kozilek's Command, which then I think actually means we want the Edge of Autumn second from the bottom, because like we're not going to empty the deck anyways, because I don't want to lose the ability to daze. And that this way we then, if they don't have Wasteland, we get to like then try and cast another Thassa's Oracle later on. They start out with Once Upon a Time, Ancient Tomb, and they pass. They started paying costs, which could be Mind Tricks, or it could be that they have Disruptor Flute. They do, and that was clever, so I have to use the daze right now. And that also means I don't get to make 2 mana this turn. So if they have another flute, then it's a hootin' tootin' flutin' problem. Thought Nuts here, yeah, go nuts. Take my Street Wraith. I care not. They took the Street Wraith, and now we draw the other Street Wraith and put Thassa's Oracle on the stack. Alright, so the question is, for game number 3, do we try and spice things up with the Barrogoyfs? The problem is, I think Barrogoyf kind of wants more creatures to really be good. As it is, it would just be a way. It would be something to Dark Ritual out, like to Dark Ritual out a 4/5 lifelinker with Death Touch. But I don't know, like some amount of the time that is going to be like something Eldrazi can't really handle. But without having the other tools, I don't think I like it that much. But maybe we like lose a daze and another daze, and we add the 2 Force of Negations. I like that switch. Is Drown in the Lock something we like? Probably not, because like they don't really fill their graveyard very swiftly. So maybe like we fit in a Barrogoyf there, and then maybe we go down to 1 Thoughtseize and add a second Barrogoyf. I think I want to try this. Okay, opponent mulligans to 6. We keep this, which is a turn 2 Doomsday. Not having the blue card for the Force of Will is a little bit awkward, but yeah, okay. Watch me draw a Barrogoyf as my first draw here and cry. Or we could draw a Dark Ritual and be happy. Okay, so they exiled Devourer of Destiny, Sowing Microspawn, and Maze of Ith. Yikes, Maze of Ith. Okay. Okay, do they have the Chalice? They do, it would appear. So I think I'm going to cycle this. I'm not sure if I hit the blue card I want to force. I think I actually let this happen and then save my force in case they go turn 2 Thought-Knot Seer, which they aren't going to do without... they're not going to be able to do that through a Cavern of Souls, I wouldn't expect. I don't think lists are playing Spirit Guides here. But if they do go like Lotus Petal right now, then I have to worry about that. Okay. They don't, so I won't worry. So I'm going to fetch a Surveil land here. And Dark Ritual can take a hike to the graveyard. And they seem to have Disruptor Flute. So I probably want to force this, right? I hit a Daze, which is not useless, but it's also not amazing. Okay, let's like I'm pretty concerned about a second copy of Disruptor Flute here, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so Thassa's Oracle. So we could just try and put Thassa on the stack next turn. So what's more likely, that they have another flute, or that they have something like Wasteland or Kozilek's Command? Like, statistically speaking, assuming they play 4 of each of those, it's more likely they have one of those 2 cards. They aren't putting any damage on us right now, so I'm feeling okay with Street Wraiths. So what's the last card here? Is it, or do I need 2? I need 2 more, right? No, okay. So I really don't want to cycle Edge of Autumn twice and lose 2 lands. There is a world where they where they cast Sowing Microspawn next turn and at least like get one of our lands. So is it a second Oracle? Is that the thing? Do we just not like, and this way we just accept to lose to another Disruptor Flute. Right. So let's put a Thassa on the bottom. Then yeah, basically the same pile as last go around. So we could also lose to Kozilek's Command, but if they like that would need to cost 4 mana in order to exile Thassa. They have 3 right now, but now they have 5. Ugh. Well, I hope this is Thought-Knot Seer. Okay. So what's the play here? If I go, I think I daze this. They've made their land drop. If I daze this and they pay, then they can't cast Disruptor Flute. And they're going to take my daze anyways. And it doesn't matter, seeing as they're not going to wasteland me, that I'm falling behind the land. Okay, so they paid. They're going to take the One Ring. And then I have to win now because I'm putting myself down to 3 with Thassa. Or at least I have to not have Thassa be removed. But I'm feeling pretty okay right now. And I'm going to play out Underground Sea over Cavern of Souls. There's this tiny difference here is if the game somehow goes on and they then next turn wasteland my cavern and put a Chalice of the Void on 2, I mean. Which they do have the mana to do, so we want to not lose the cavern. Let's see. Hey, we got there. Wow. Close call. Super happy I boarded in those Barrogoyfs, huh? Alright, off to round number 4. Alright, we are on the draw for round number 4 rather. We have a turn 2 Doomsday. We have a turn 1 Doomsday win if we draw, win the same turn if we draw Dark Ritual. Meanwhile, we're up against True Futurism, which is also, I believe, a known grinder. I can't remember what they're known for playing, but something also. I got the Eldrazi tingling here, but I'm gonna keep. I think I keep this hand in the dark. Opponent's down to 5. Wow, this has been the tale of opponents mulliganing like crazy. Let's hope we don't get destroyed here, but it's hard to complain about a mulligan to 5 from the opponent. Oh, it's Mystic Forge. Hey, I mean, sorry. This is bordering on the ridiculous here. My deck is just rubbing my shoulders, feeding me caviar, and pouring expensive champagne while my opponent is over there just getting kicked in their teeth by their own deck. Okay, so we need Consider, a Cycler. Remember, only one of them can be Edge of Autumn because we only have 1 land in play. We need Thassa's Oracle. We need Lion's Eye Diamond. And then finally we need a second Cycler in the shape of Street Wraith. And then the pile is, just like we drew it up, it's Thassa on the bottom with a Cycler, and then the other 3. Thassa's Oracle and Consider. And we cycle the Edge of Autumn, sack the LED, and we draw the Consider. I suppose we could just put Thassa in our hand here, but I don't want to do that in case they randomly have Dismember, which I think is more likely than them randomly having Surgical Extraction in the main deck. Alright, that was a pasting. So the Urza's Tower pretty much gives up the ghosts here. This is Mystic Forge, or 12 Post, or I think probably, well, it might not be the same approach we take, because I think with Mystic Forge, which is predominantly the One Ring deck, I think Sheoldred is pretty interesting. I don't know about Orcish Bowmasters, but probably. And I don't know if 12 Post, I would assume 12 Post plays the One Ring, but I don't know if it's that big of a plan of theirs. So I don't know. Let's try the Sheoldreds. We can board out Drown in the Loch. We can probably board out the second copy of Thassa's Oracle, so we're down to 19 cards. But I think we also want to Force of Negation. And then let's cut, I don't know, let's cut the basic swamp. Don't think basic lands are going to be important here. And then let's cut like a Lotus Petal and a Thoughtseize. Lotus Petal only because they are a Karn the Great Creator deck, and like not being overwhelmed with artifacts. I mean, it's a little bit of a strawman argument. I don't think it really matters massively. Having two or three Lotus Petals, we still have the like three the One Ring, but yeah, I'm just a little bit worried about cutting blue cards. Although I did board in 2 blue cards and only cut 1, so okay, this is not an exciting hand, but I am going to keep it. And opponent found 7 they liked, so let's see if we're getting. Oh, okay, we're not getting turn 1 Karned, but this does represent a lot of mana on upcoming turns. I would love to find a force effect here. We don't. I'm gonna shuffle these. Another the One Ring. Okay. So it used to be that Doomsday almost could not lose to 12 post, but since then, like Endurance was printed, and now they have Disruptor Flute and a lot of other stuff. Now they have 3 mana, but it looks like they're just passing. So what they want to do costs more than 3 mana. Okay, I am going to cast a Brainstorm here and try and get rid of some of all this junk in my hand. You don't say. Okay, so I have Doomsday here. The question is, do I risk trying to win? I think I do. Well, I mean, I'm not going to try and win on the same turn, which I could, because I would like to not lose to Disruptor Flute, but we'll see. They might Disruptor Flute with Dark Ritual on the stack, which would be pretty annoying. Yeah, oh my god, fuck me. I should have seen that coming. Okay. And I don't have a good play here. I thought just for a second about waiting 1 turn, and then I could cast the One Ring, but no. Let's just pass here. They got us good. And if the rest of their hand does 12 post stuff, then we're not looking too good. Okay, so they have 4 mana, but fortunately we have a Daze. What is up with his artwork? I've seen that before. Oh, but they have Spirit Guide. Oh, that's so sick. I think I have to cycle this and hope to find Force, and then I'm just kind of fucked either way. Yeah, alright. GG's. That was brutal. Yeah, that was a poor play on my part. I think I should have just waited. Waited. But it's easy to be wise after the fact. But yeah, like, if I wait, then they don't play Karn, because I don't think they do anyways, because they have to keep open the Flute. Then I go Dark Ritual on the subsequent turn. They Flute in response and name Doomsday, and then I have the One Ring, and I start drawing cards at least. Then they also then they have Karn on subsequent turns. But yeah, all right. I think I'm just gonna resubmit. So they do have Spirit Guide. That's good to know. That means, well, first of all, like we saw, it means Daze is not a very efficient tool, but it also means that they could potentially Flute with, like, on turn 0 if they have double Spirit Guide Flute. Oh no, that's a mulligan. That's holy moly, that's a lot of mana. Wait, how much mana is this? This is 3, 4, 6. So it's not quite what we want. Or it's not quite, we don't have the ability to then Edge of Autumn into the One Ring. But I am going to keep this, and I'm just going to bottom. I probably bottom the Cabal Ritual. And now we really have to decide to do with the time that's given to us, to quote a wise man. Because this is not straightforward. Cycling Edge of Autumn at any point takes us to 0 mana. If they go on their turn, just Ancient Tomb, Disruptor Fluid, we have to answer it. So I almost feel like I am sort of prized into putting Force of Will as the top card. And then, well, we obviously need the Thassa's Oracle. Maybe then the plan becomes to put like a fetch land and maybe not make it Polluted Delta, just not to be too obvious, in case they play Pithing Needle. And then like a land, we can make it basic island. And then I think we just need to have like another land, honestly. Because if they do push us into cycling Edge of Autumn. So let's see here. We put Force of Will on top, and then Misty Rainforest, and then Thassa. So in that way, we would like be able to get to Force of Will, and then we would be able to put Thassa's on the stack next turn with Force of Will backup. Yeah, let's do this. So we put the 2 fetchable lands on the bottom. So some maniac play like Surgical Extraction on Underground Sea, like Wasteland and then Surgical Extraction would be kind of insane. All right, they could also Boseiju us. That's also a thing that could happen. I mean, I don't think they could do it. Yeah, they could do it on turn 0, like Land Spirit Guide, Boseiju. And they did keep 7. Okay, something tells me they have Spirit Guide and Disruptor Flute. Oh no, hang on. I completely miscalculated here. I have to wait one more turn, right? Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, somehow I factored in an extra draw. Okay. They didn't do anything on my end of turn. They've not cast a spell here, so they could have cast Once Upon a Time. Planar Nexus. Okay. I mean, it probably has to be Flute, right? And that means they have a bunch of mana, so they could Flute twice. So if they have 2 flutes, then it's GG's. I don't know if they play enough green cards to support the like endurance. That's the other thing I'm kind of concerned about here. So let me get to my upkeep. This would be the time to flute, I think. So is there any gain to be had in waiting here? I think like probably not. It just gives them more chances to draw a second flute or any second piece of disruption and then mana to. So right now they could also like kill Thassa. Oh no, I fetched too early. Oh my fucking god, what is going on here? Holy shit. That was just the massive of massive punts. Well, I think I'm gonna like there's a 50-50 shot at me cycling into Thassa now, which is what I wanted. I think I'm gonna do that and try and end it this turn. And if not, then the only thing that really punishes me is like, I don't know, what do you call it? Like if they somehow get to Karn plus Liquid Metal Coating or something. But okay, we drew the Thassa. Let's see, right? I guess that means they probably have Kozilek's command, and they're gonna try and kill her. Well, Trigger's on the stack. Oh, they have Dismember. If they have Dismember plus Kozilek's command, then we're dead. DEAD. They have Veil of Summer? Fuck me. Okay. GG's opponent? GG's. Yeah, that I beat that if I wait a turn, right? Yeah. Well, there we go. Put to the sword by the 12 post sec. Let's go for round number 5. All right, on the play for the final round. And oh, close but no cigar. We have to mulligan this. Man, I have not resolved the One Ring, he says, and then immediately can do it. Okay, I'm gonna keep. So what's the plan here? Is it Is it? I think I'm gonna. This would really hurt to have Force of Willed. like hurt in a way that it's almost like game over. But then again, if we are up against the blue deck and we give them a turn, then we open ourselves up to Wasteland, open ourselves up to Daze. I think I'm gonna do the force check here. So I'm gonna put back Cavern of Souls. No, I'm gonna put back Edge of Autumn. Because if this does get Force of Will, then having the second land is like at least we're a little bit closer to having the second ring. Well, there was a pause. We don't like those. Do you also have a Force of Will? Nope. Alright, cool. Draw Thoughtseize? Alright. Well, we made turn one the One Ring. Forest. Okay. Forest into Hierarch, so we must expect something like a Nadu deck. So let's start with drawing some cards. And then I'm gonna, I'm gonna cast Ponder. We find Doomsday and Lotus Petal. So we just have the win here. If the opponent is in the Force of Will deck, which I don't think they are. Oh no, hang on. We don't, right? So we need to draw the Doomsday. We need a land. Then we also need the extra mana. So if I draw Doomsday right now and then cycle Edge of Autumn into the Petal, then I still can't win on the same turn. Okay. So I'm gonna just draw or the land here and pass. If they are Nadu, then they could, like, if they have Gaia's Cradle, they could go Nomads plus Nadu here, I think. Oi, oi, oi. They could also go for, like Collect Roof. Okay, Springheart, Nantuko. They're Nantukoing like nobody's business over there. I'm assuming there's a land coming. Yeah, ooh, even better, a fetch land. They do have blue mana. So I am going to probably just put Doomsday on the stack here and then we see how we go. There's no need to make like a Hail Mary pile. So they could have found Force of Will. They are a blue deck. But I don't know. Alright, so what's the plan here? I have an untapped mana and I have Cavern of Souls in hand, so I can just draw Thassa. Ring draws 3 cards, and then Edge draws the 4th, and let's say Street Wraith draws the 5th. So we could make it Force and Daze would probably be the best things to be doing. So Force, Daze, Cycler, I guess, I don't know, second Daze. So Ring will draw us Force, Daze, Daze. Then Edge draws Street Wraith draws Thassa. That seems like the place to be. We need to play the Cavern though and cycle that, or sacrifice that to cycle the Edge. So let's start by drawing 3. Oh, I should have played the Cavern. I just spoke about it. Like if they do something right now with this effect on the stack, then I can't Edge and then have double Daze available next turn, but it probably won't matter. But it's nice to play optimally if possible. Okay, it didn't hurt us. So let's say Merfolk. So my kids and wife gave me this mug for Christmas that said like something like #1 dad jokes or something, because they feel like I tell dad jokes. And I just thought of a dad joke. So what do you call whale song? Like what genre of music do you call whale song? You know, whales, they sing in the ocean. Well, I would suggest you could call it merfolk music. You know, hey, get it? Okay, I hope I didn't lose too many viewers just now. All right. Meanwhile, opponent saw the writing on the wall while I was talking and not progressing the game. Sorry about that, opponent. I was telling a very important dad joke. All right, so this, I think, feels like the elf ball kind of approach to Nadu. And I do wonder, like, all of this removal seems somewhat interesting, but that might be a trap. I don't know. Is Barrowgoyf good when they're like gumming up the ground with Springheart and Antuco? I mean, I'm gonna try this out for science, seeing as we're up a game here, um, and they probably have like stuff to bring in versus Doomsday, like Flusterstorm or Consign to Memory, that kind of thing. So let's try and thin some cards here. We also, I know I kept the second Thassin last time I tried this, but with this many win conditions in the form of creatures, like 8 creatures that can turn sideways and kill, I think it's okay. So right now we're on 19 blue cards. Let's get rid of a Lotus Petal and a Cabal Ritual. And let's see how we go. I'm curious. This might go south. Like, they might just overwhelm us. We have 5 removal spells right now. 6 if we count the Drown in the lock. For science. Opponent mulligans to 6. Allosaurus Shepherd. That is a little bit of a scary creature. Hopefully we can like bridge the game into our second turn. Honestly, also it doesn't really matter right now because we don't have a counter spell. Okay, so what do we take here? Do we take the Nadu or whatever Green Sun Zenith like is likely to represent next turn? They have a Cradle, but yeah, I think we take Nadu and pass. Okay. Don't play the Cradle. Do you play the Green Sun here while you know it's not going to get countered? Okay, no. Okay, so they have Nomads. Gonads. Oh, sorry, I didn't say that. Didn't hear that. Alright, so that means basically, like, next turn I'm dead because they can kill, they can, like, get to Nadu. We could play, okay. That kind of, like, solves what we're trying to do here because we can't Bowmasters the Nomads, they just redirect the damage. I suppose I could give them the opportunity to do it. So if they want nomads to stick around, they are going to redirect it. I think I'm going to try that. I'm going to make it like I don't know how this works, or I'm just not playing, or I'm playing to them making a mistake. I'm going to target the nomads. Then they redirect it onto the Allosaurus Shepherd. I think that gives away the least, that the fact that I have a Force of Will. So their hand is Cradle plus Green Sun. So I suppose second Nomads. Okay, sure. Cradle, like this still isn't enough to get to Nadu. So I do kind of assume that they're going to have to wait a turn here. I do think they probably don't take any trades here, even with the Bowmasters. I don't think this isn't a deck that draws cards like in the traditional manner anyway, so I don't think the Bowmasters is very valuable to them. Okay, so I'm gonna fetch. So right now there are 3 card types in the collective graveyard, so Barrowgoyf is a 3/4. It is about to become a 4/5 once I Force of Will here. But then I still might just like lose. They're gonna third. Okay, cool. So it is all about me not letting Nadu resolve now, ever, because I can't get rid of those 3, of all of them. Okay, so they're Hellbent. We draw another Ponder. Let's go ahead and cast that, and shuffle these 2 lands and a Lotus Petal. Second Barrowgoyf. So I think I send it with everything here, and then I probably play the second Barrowgoyf and try to just end the game. Oh, okay. Interesting. That might change my mind here. That means if I ponder into one of my removal spells, I can kill the remaining nomads. Oh, I guess maybe not. Are they redirecting? Yeah, okay, so they're only going to lose one nomads. That's how that card works. All right. Um, yeah. Then I am going to just make the second Barrogoyf. Because, like, casting Ponder without having a second blue card in hand, there's nothing I can find that would stop them from, like, if they can make Nadu this turn, then they just got me. Okay, Bird's Paradise, that's not Nadu. There's a lot of chump, chump, chump. Okay, I'm going to cast Ponder. We can at least try and get... So do we want the Force of Will? I think we do. I think we want to draw Force of Will, and then we're going to mill over Shieldred. It doesn't give us Force of Will this exact turn, but it's going to give us Force of Will on the hard cast next turn. I'm not going to give up my Orc Army token to what just happened last go around. Okay, they just take it. Okay, so I'm going to mill 4. There was a Shieldred. Okay. And I'm going to mill 4 more. There was a Bowmasters. Okay, so what's the play here? So what does Bowmasters do here? Not a lot, right? It just basically... Okay, I think I'm actually going to play the Shieldred because that gives them the least amount of life total and time to work with. And if I can find another blue card or land next turn, then I have Force of Will anyways if the game goes beyond this. And I don't think Bowmasters does anything here. I don't think they're going to draw a card. And they can redirect just kill the Birds of Paradise. Yeah, let's try that. They might just like draw Caracas or whatever, and then it doesn't matter. Shieldred's in, and this is they need to hit now. They need to get to Nadu. And if they do hit Nadu here, then I think it's probably good enough. But they didn't. All right, cool. All right, a nice solid 4-1. How about that? All right, so 4-1. I feel pretty bad that we threw the trophy. What it turned out to be the trophy match in Game 3 versus 12 Post. I'm really not sure if I am supposed to deduce that I am playing around Dismember and Veil of Summer rather than Disruptor Flute or Kozilek's Command. I think probably them not like casting casting Disruptor Flute earlier probably should have given it away. I don't know, but if I just wait one turn, I think. Well, I mean, we don't know. They could also have had. I can't remember if they had enough mana to both like Kozilek's Command us to draw a card and then cast Veil of Summer. I don't think so. I don't know. It was close, anyways. But I also got just disgusting luck in earlier parts of the league. Opponents mulliganing cheerfully down to 5 in multiple rounds. So yeah, that's also magic. That kind of happens, and so take the results with a pinch of salt. I think the ring only really came up once, but it was good when it did, and that was in the final round. I still I like the ring. It's sort of an endorphin rush, you know, when you resolve it. I think, but I also think it is obviously a very strong card, and any deck that can like leverage it should at least be asking themselves if they ought to be doing that, and if not, then why not? And because we are like a fast mana deck with rituals and petals, then I think it is at least worth considering. Also, I wanted to touch on something, and this is not at all to throw shade at anyone. This is just like a couple of reflections over things that people have been, like sentiments that I've gotten from people in the comments section on my videos, is that there seems to be some, let's call them Doomsday purists, for whom it it kind of offends the senses to have creatures, especially if it's like a creature plan. But also, I think, at least for some, the One Ring is also like a little bit of an impure, as it were, like card to be playing. And I get it. Like we all have different like things that trigger us and that we enjoy and dislike about the game. I certainly have play styles that speak to me more than others that then sort of speak to the kinds of plans I want to be playing. I know for a fact I have been a big sort of, I won't say opponent, but like I've not liked personal tutor at all for a long time. But I am really trying to I'm trying to rid myself, is what I'm trying to say, of these sort of, I think, emotionally driven thoughts. I play personal tutor if I think it's good, and I I'm trying to play the One Ring primarily because I think it's good. And if I play the One Ring and I can only like 2-3 and 3-2, then I'm gonna stop playing the One Ring. You know. So and yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about that. So I hope people can enjoy the videos even if it's not your exact favorite jam of Doomsday. But yeah, I think that's probably it. And I want to thank you so much for watching. As always, it makes a big difference, to me. And I'll be back with some more Legacy. Bye bye.